You know what? You've been asking me quite a few questions thanks to the Ask the Phone Dog segment, which is a segment I started just because I'm leaving at the end of the month. I wanted an opportunity to answer as many personal or work-related or whatever questions you wanted to throw my way that I usually wouldn't cover in a video. I wanted the opportunity to answer as many of those as possible before I leave on December 31st. You've asked me how to contact me post December 31st. It's easy. Twitter, Aaron C. Baker, Facebook at facebook.com/hi Aaron Baker. But you know what? It's time to kick it off. It's the final installment, round 3 of Ask the Phone Dog. Let's kick it off. So it's episode 3 of Ask the Phone Dog, and here are the questions you've asked me, or at least the ones that I could get rounded up into a video. The first one is, how do you stay fit? It's hard because honestly I do quite a bit of traveling throughout the year. Last year I traveled about 106,000 miles, so I'm constantly on day trips in New York and San Francisco, week-long trips for CES, week-long trips for Mobile World Congress, CTA. So it's a challenge not only to have a daily workout program, but have a workout program especially when you're traveling. To me, that's one of my priorities in life because I like the way I feel after a run. I like the fact that for me, you know, quite a bit of our business is a 24/7 type business. I like the ability to go for a run, and oftentimes when I come back from a run or come back from the gym, I'll be like, you know what, that idea that I wasn't thinking about or wasn't thinking about properly, now I have some clarity with it. Now I'm able to actually see through it. And I do this all the time when I'm traveling as well. The trick is you got to be dedicated enough to get up early. There have been plenty of times where I'm at trade shows like CES, which is coming up in 2013. I'll get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go for a run or to hit the gym in the various hotels that I've stayed at. So you've got to be dedicated to it regardless of meetings, regardless of events. You know, the meetings may end at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night, and you may get 3 or 4 hours of sleep, but if that run or whatever the case may be, working out, lifting weights is important to you, you'll make it happen. So I find for me, I'm either in the gym at 11 o'clock at night during a trade show or during a series of meetings in San Francisco or in New York, or I'll wake up at 4:30 in the morning before my 7 o'clock breakfast meeting or my 8 o'clock meeting so I can get a workout in and get showered and get ready for the day. So that's how I do it. I actually run about 5 to 6 days a week, and I do quite a bit of different stuff in the gym depending on what I'm trying to focus on for that particular month or that particular period. So that's how I stay fit. Do I have pets? This is a good one. I have one cat. Her name is MC. It's short for Mittens Christine. Her full name is Mittens Christine Baker. I actually thought it'd be kind of funny to give my cat a middle name, and where the Baker part comes from is I kenneled her a couple of years ago when I was leaving for a business trip. I didn't have any friends to watch the cat. They were all traveling as well. Not to say that I don't have any friends. I actually do have quite a few friends. But I was traveling for business, and I kenneled her, and when I came back to pick her up on the cage, they had written Mittens Baker, and just ever since then it's cracked me up. So whenever I'm addressing her by her full name, I'll address her as Mittens Baker. But actually we call her MC now, not to be confused with MC Hammer, but MC short for Mittens Christine. Or as a joke, and this sounds kind of weird, I will call her my meat cat, where I like pull her little legs and I'll be like, it's my meat cat, it's my meat cat. It's a little weird, I know, but it's like everybody has that cat voice that they do with their cat. So you know what, even though I'm telling you this on camera in front of 214,000 YouTube subscribers, you know you got one too. So in part 2 of Ask the Phone Dog, or episode 2 rather, I told you that I liked airplanes. It was my favorite non-work hobby, and quite a few questions came in asking me about my favorite airplane. So I'm actually going to tell you first my least favorite airplane, then I'm going to tell you my favorite airplane. My least favorite airplane, and I'm like the only aviation enthusiast that thinks this, I actually don't like the way the 787, and we're talking out of current airplanes, the 787, I don't care for the way it looks. It's small, and when I think of Boeing, I think of the giant 747, which is actually my favorite airplane. The 747-8 is a drool-worthy airplane. I absolutely love that airplane. It's beautiful. I would love to have one. I would love to own one. It's way too expensive to not only to maintain, but actually buy. But 747-8 is my favorite aircraft. My least favorite, honestly, is the 787. I love the improvements they've done to the interior, but it looks like a dumpy plane to me. It's like it's not big enough. It's not a Boeing aircraft. When I think Boeing, I think like giant aircraft that's flying up in the skies, and I'm like, 787, I don't know, it's just not, doesn't cut it for me in terms of size. I also like the 757 quite a bit. I don't care for it for transatlantic flights, but I like the 57 for like a domestic type flight. Great airplane all around. I'm also a big fan of the 777, the Boeing 777-300ER. It's a nice plane as well. Kind of continuing along on the topic of planes, favorite place that I've visited. Well, that's all, you know, it's tough because there have been quite a few places around the world that I've visited. I've been fortunate enough to visit as part of my job, and I may, you know, not have been able to see as much of it. I've been to Berlin, I've been to Barcelona, I've been to London several times. I'm in San Francisco and New York, it seems like every other week. I've been in San Diego, Orlando, New Orleans. I live in Dallas, used to live in Charlotte, been in Chicago, been, you know, around the world, Seattle, you name it. I've probably been there either for work at least once. One of my favorite places, and I can't really rank these because there's so many places I love. I love where I live. I love Dallas. Dallas is my home. Absolutely love it here. But in terms of just places that I visited, I loved Berlin last year when I was there for IFA. Really a cool city, and the infrastructure is nice, and it's conducive to a trade show or a major event. Not a huge fan of Barcelona. It's a great place to go once. Barcelona, everybody should go to Spain at least once if they can. The food's delicious, but not a fan. The infrastructure is not great in Barcelona, and for a trade show, it's not the best in the world. Then you look at, let's see, what else have I been to? Barcelona, Berlin. Oh, absolutely love, this was actually for a vacation. I absolutely love Italy. Went to Rome, went to Florence. Absolutely love Italy. Want to go back and go to Venice. So if I had to pick a place, it'd either be Italy or Berlin, but I love places like San Diego, one of my favorite US cities. Love Seattle, love California, certain parts of California, and absolutely love where I live in Dallas. And last but not least, a phone-related question, because we got to take this out in style, right? I thought so. iOS versus Android. It's a question I answer as part of being an unbiased reviewer every day, and I try to give you the pros and cons of both. But in my personal use, which one's my favorite, all things aside, and honestly, I'd probably give a slight edge to Android. iOS, Android, I use them both depending on the time of the month, depending on the time of the year. I get bored, I'll switch back to Android, or I'll switch back to iOS, or I even switch back to Windows Phone for a while. But honestly, for me, Android is the best. I found that, I used to love iOS, and still do, because iOS is very fluid. I like the fluidity of the operating system, but you know what, it gets boring after a while, especially now where Android's kind of caught up in the fluidity department, and I look and I see, okay, they're both kind of equal on the fluidity platform, so which one's better with other things? And I'm like, you know what, with Google apps, Google services are obviously far better on Android than they are on iOS, and I use Google services. My email backend is all on Gmail. I use Google Voice, Google Docs, you name it, I'm probably using it. I like Google Now quite a bit. So for me, I love Google Maps as well. Use it all the time when I'm traveling. And so for me, I would probably choose Android over iOS. That's not to say there aren't things I love about iOS, because there are. I love the music selections with iOS, with the iTunes ecosystem. I love the way the music application looks, and I love the overall fluidity. It's just a clean, good-looking interface, and of course the iPhone 5 is a beautiful device, but I'd probably give a slight edge to Android. That rounds up Ask the PhoneDog. Thanks so much for tuning into all these. It's been a pleasure, and you know what? It's been a true honor doing this for 4 years. I've headed PhoneDog for 2 years. I've worked for the company for 4 years, and it's been an absolute honor and the opportunity of a lifetime, and I really, really mean that. Thank you so much for tuning in. It means more to me than you know, regardless of whether you're a hater, you don't care for my presentation style, or you're a lover. I guess that'd be the right juxtaposition there. Or you're a lover and you love my presentation style. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your constructive feedback, your constructive criticism over the years. It truly means a lot to me. I do take it to heart, regardless of what I may say on Twitter or on Facebook. I do take it to heart, and it's nice. It helps me grow, and it helps me make a better video for you. It's been an honor. PhoneDog is awesome, and I can't wait to see what they have in store in 2013. If you want to follow me, it's Aaron C. Baker on Twitter, Facebook, facebook.com/HiAaronBaker, and I hope you'll stay tuned to PhoneDog as well. I know some of the plans they have for 2013. It's really exciting, and I can't wait to see what Taylor and David do with the site in 2013. But again, from the bottom of my heart, you make this possible. Thank you so much for all the great years at PhoneDog. It's the opportunity of a lifetime, and I can't wait to see how PhoneDog turns out in 2013. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.